Welcome everybody, glad you could join us today. Tomica, we haven't had a lot of Tomica on the channel lately. Tomica is, a little bit hard to find here in the US. It's just kind of one of those things where you got to put some effort into it. This is the Sports Car History Collection. This is the 4-car set. This is a little bit older. It's probably a couple years old at least. It's definitely not new, but these are the 4 models in there. We do have our WRX Type RA STI version 5. Our S15 Spec R, the RX-7 FD3S, and then of course, I think that is the Evo 3. Of course, it says nothing in Japanese. It's Evo 4, I'm sorry. There's one part that I can read on there. There is all the information that is 100% in Japanese that you just can't read. Well, at least I can't read it. But we're going to take a look at these models. This is a sealed box, so we're going to go ahead and cut this open. There's just a piece of tape on each side. So we'll just go ahead and crack this, pull the box open, see how our models are set in there. They're in a little 4-square cardboard deal here. It's kind of interesting. So just kind of go ahead and pull these out. They are in the same order as the box. We'll put the box in the back. Take a look at our first one. We're going to start with the Subaru. The WRX Type RA with its lensed headlights, which look really, really good. There is your Subaru symbol in the middle in white. Does have the kind of wider Tomica wheels. Does have suspension like they normally do. Excellent quality as you'd expect. Does say WRX on the back in blue with that fancy WRX lettering. I really like that. Something that we didn't get here in the US, unfortunately. But of course, we didn't get this model of WRX either. So that makes a big difference. Wing on the back is plastic. It is separate. Looks fantastic. There's no moving parts or anything on this model. And of course, made in Vietnam. So that's how you know it is current. They all are. Looks pretty good. Do like that one. One's a pretty good one. So throw that guy back in the bag. Put him back in his little container spot there. All right, we're going to go on to our RX-7. I'm kind of bummed out that you don't get boxes with the box set, but it makes sense why you don't. There is the FD3C CPO Human Cyborg FD3S. I know you RX-7 guys are going to be like, what are you doing? Not a huge fan of RX-7s. Not a huge JDM fan, I'll be honest with you. This one looks fantastic in red, though. Does have some print there for the marker lights and of course your Mazda symbol in the middle. This one does have opening doors. We'll take a look at that in just a second. Does have those same wider wheels as the other. Rear prints look pretty good. Does say RX-7 Mazda on there, which is pretty nice. This one is a pretty fancy edition. Of course, they are all right-hand drive because of course they are. There are the opening doors, which look pretty good. Kind of rudimentary details on the front or in the inside. It doesn't really have a whole lot of detail in there. The doors are very, very basic. But it looks pretty good. There is the base Dietz. Looks pretty good. L21. So it looks like they have their own base code numbering, just like Mattel uses, which is kind of interesting. So we'll stuff our RX-7 back in that side. We'll move over to our S15. This is probably going to be the best one in the box, in my opinion. No biased. There is the S15. I do love the Sylvia logo there on the hood. Looks very, very good with the S. Silver prints for the headlights, which is kind of interesting. They are not lensed or anything. It does have some pretty good prints on the front, though. Print for your headlight. Your fog lights. Then, of course, your front license plate, which is kind of interesting. Side marker lights on this one as well. Same wider wheels. Not all that great of a wheel, but it looks decent. Taillight prints look pretty good as well. Again, a little bit of print for the plate detail as well. The wing is plastic, which is added on, just like the Subaru was. But that one looks pretty good. Of course, it's right-hand drive as well. There are your Dietz on the back. Nissan Sylvia. Of course, made in Vietnam, because they're all made in Vietnam. I do like the little exhaust addition there on the back. That's an actual piece that's added on. So, pretty cool little detail there. You don't get that on too many of them. That one looks pretty good. The blue is a good color, but would have liked to have this in something besides blue. So, looks pretty good though. Throw him back in his little slot. Move on to the last one, which is the Evo 4 in silver. Of course, we do love silver. Silver is a good color. This particular silver looks pretty good. Very metallic. This casting is big. It's definitely a big casting. One of the things that Tomica does is, they always build them to the size of the box. So sometimes when you have a smaller car, it ends up being a pretty big model. Prints on the back are not that great. It does say Mitsubishi and it does say Lance or Evo on it, but the tail lights are big and red with no details on them, just red. The wing is metal though. That is part of the casting. And it does have openings in it, which is kind of cool. Same wheels as the rest of them, although this one has far more suspension travel. Just a relatively big casting. The front headlights are lens though. That is pretty cool. Definitely like that detail to it. A little bit of print on the side marker lights. A little bit of print for the hood vent. Looks pretty good. It's an okay model. Clear windows. It's just a big casting. Just a really big casting. Not a huge fan of it. There is the deets on the bottom. Lancer Evo 4. Made in Vietnam. Looks okay. It's just a really big casting because it's a small car. Evo 4 was still a pretty small car. So we'll stuff that guy in there with the plastic and whatnot. We'll get our tray back into here. Always interesting the way that these box sets are done up. At least interesting to me. Throw that in there. Put our little flap. Get that done. Cooperate. There we go. Boom. There you go. Nice, quick, dirty, easy. Always happy to bring some Tomica to the channel. It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare, but glad we can get something on there. Let me know what you're a big fan of. Obviously, I think the S15 is the best casting of the four. I think the Evo is the worst casting of the four. RX-7, just nothing fancy about it, but that WRX is pretty nice. But definitely like that S15. So let me know what you guys like. Let me know which ones are your favorite. And we'll catch you next time on Level M. Peace.